Hi, my name is Sam. I'm a fourth year medical student and pre-med coach at the Premed Consultants, and today we're going to be talking about cold emailing to obtain research positions in college. If you're currently a college student or a high schooler or post-grad and you're looking for research positions and struggling, then this video is for you. Today we're going to be talking about cold emailing, which in my opinion is one of the most effective ways to informally get research positions, especially when you don't have the connections to just get them. So before we get into cold emailing, let's talk about research a little bit. So in undergrad, usually there's about two types of research: basic science research, which involves you being in the lab, and clinical research, which is more asynchronous and online. And you may be interested in either of these types of research or both, and you could choose which research positions you apply to by whether the PI that you're applying with, which is a principal investigator, does clinical or basic science research. For me personally, I recommend doing a mix of basic science and clinical research. That way you have a more well-rounded application and you kind of have more principal investigators to reach out to. Once you choose whether you want to do basic science or clinical science research, then you could narrow your interest down a little bit more. For the sake of this video, let's say that we're a college student named Tom who goes to Cornell and studies biology. He's pre-med and he's interested in pursuing basic science, oncology, or cancer research. So the next thing that we're going to do is look for a mentor. What I recommend for this is going to your school's website and looking for the research faculty directory. You might not have a designated research faculty directory, but you definitely have some kind of directory which lists all the faculty and their department. For example, in this situation, Tom, who's interested in oncology research, would look for faculty members that are in the oncology or cancer research departments. This is especially useful if your school has a medical school or a graduate school attached, because then you can go to those designated websites and look into the faculty directories there. When you look through the faculty mentors, you'll see that some are going to be MDs, which means that they're medical doctors doing research, PhDs, which means they're more research focused and less clinical, and MD PhDs, which means that they split their schedule in the clinic and in the research lab. For the purposes of medical school applications, I always recommend to try to get a mentor that also holds an MD or a DO. However, a PhD mentor is just fine, and one of my main mentors in undergrad was a PhD. At this point, it's going to be a numbers game. Really go quantity over quality here, because the more mentors that you email, the more responses you'll actually get. And more often than not, no one's going to respond to you at all. So you really want to maximize the number of people that you're emailing, because most of the time they just are not going to reply. And that's just the nature of the game. Alright, so now let's say we narrowed it down to about 20 potential mentors that we want to email. Now we need to get to the actual cold email itself. So the most important thing when it comes to the cold email is keeping it short and sweet. You don't want to send a novel over that no one's going to read, but you also want to make sure that you're hitting all the important points of the email. So a perfect cold email could be broken down into 3 parts. The first part is the introduction. In this portion, you're just going to be introducing yourself. It should be 2 lines maximum. An example would be, "Dear Dr. Smith, I hope you are well. My name is Tom and I'm a freshman at Cornell studying biology on a pre-med track." That's it. That's all we're going to do for the introduction. So the second part of the email is going to be the more challenging part. This is going to be the part where you explain to your potential mentor why you're interested in their research. For the purposes of this video, Tom, who's interested in oncology, is going to be looking at mentors that are oncology faculty, and so he's going to be talking about why he found something that they're doing in their research specifically interesting. For this, I recommend looking their name up in PubMed. Often on their faculty page, they'll have their most recent publications, and I'd look through maybe their 5 most recent publications, preferably something from the year that you're looking at it, and just click on the last one that they published, read the abstract, and tell them in 2 or 3 lines why you found it interesting. Don't make this long, it has to be short and sweet. Let's say that you found a faculty member that is doing research at the intersection of artificial intelligence and oncology. You might add that you have an interest in researching generative intelligence and oncology, and that their research speaks to your interests very specifically. Maybe you're a biomedical engineering major, and you could kind of somehow tie it into that. Always find a way that you could relate to the mentor so they're more likely to respond to your email, because they're getting dozens of these, if not more. So the last part of the email is the easy part. It's just a thank you. In this part of the email, you're going to thank your potential mentor for reading your email or for taking their time to read your email. and say that you're looking forward to connecting with them further or looking forward to speaking about this further. And then you sign it best regards or thank you in advance, whatever you prefer, and that's going to be the end of your cold email. So just to summarize, the three main things you're going to be doing is looking at your faculty directory of your university. You're going to be picking a big quantity of potential mentors to increase your chances of getting a reply, and then you're going to be crafting a cold email that is short and sweet. I hope this video was helpful.